Today's video is sponsored by TACTICALXMEN.com. So here we go again, my fellow airsofters and anybody else that happens to be watching because you just enjoy these type of videos. Here's another awesome looking replica airsoft scope. And not just any old airsoft scope. This one really is not bad at all in terms of what it can do. And the funny thing is, when I opened up that other replica scope the other day, I remember looking at the comments and someone saying they much prefer ACOGs. And at the time of me making that other video, the other box that I didn't open that you saw at the beginning of that video was this, an AIRSOFT ACOG scope. So what do we get in the box? So straight away we get this nice little fold out manual that shows you various photos of the scope and variations. And of course, some instructions and the various parts on this scope. This ACOG style scope. So what do we get in the box? We get a lens cloth, some screws and Allen keys. So already installed on this scope is an attachment so it goes on the 20mm rail. But you also get this rail mount so it goes on an 11mm rail and this extra piece, which I'll talk about in a few seconds. And here's the bad boy itself. Got some nice weight to it, so I would guess it's full metal. Oh, would you look at this baby. And right underneath this cool rubber cover is your RMR style red dot sight. And if you wanted to take that sight off, they even supply a spare mount for your RMR style red dot sight so you can put it on anything you like with a 20mm rail. Okay, let me just stop this because I want to do the reveal. So let me just take this off. Quite flexible look. And look at that bad boy. Your RMR style red dot sight. Disclaimer, it is not made by Trijicon. So just ignore those markings there. That's a bit naughty. But anyway, so let me just do some clever movement so the lighting blocks out the word Trijicon. Is it going to work? Hang on. Oh, there you go. Look, can't see Trijicon, but I'm not going to hold this like this for the entirety of this video. So I've said my disclaimer, not made by Trijicon. It's an airsoft replica. But is it any good? Well, it's a full metal build, so it does feel solid. It appears to have all what you would expect on the actual Trijicon ACOG. So let's go through the features. Actually first, let's take a good nice look at this and then we'll go through the features. Oh, these beats are making me weak. But what I have to check out, although it looks so awesome, are any of the features just for show? Are there dummies on this model? So let's start with the actual main part of the scope itself and how it's powered. So unlike the scope I reviewed the other day, no batteries are involved in this yet. It has an illuminated reticule. Now if you're wondering, how is that possible? Well, those of you who are familiar, again look, I've got a little light right above the lens on this camera. You can probably see it shining on the end of my finger. Let me just turn that off. Right, so here we go. We've got some natural daylight flooding through, which is nice. Got my main studio light off to the right at the moment, but the little light above the lens is now off. So have a look through here and see if you can pick up on that reticule. Now, showing it to you like this, you could probably just about make out the illumination, but if I go to a dark section, look, can you see it? Just there. Let's try and bring it in a lot closer for you. See it right there? The illumination in red. How that works, and this really excites me, how that works, just like the real version, you've got your fiber optic rod or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, that picks up your light, whether it be natural daylight or artificial light, and that said light will keep your AIRSOFT ACOG illuminated. Yes, this AIRSOFT version has a very effective fiber optic rod or cord that keeps this reticule illuminated. Now, how good does that look? However, on the real version, there's also some tritium. Now, if you're not sure about tritium, that tritium allows the real ACOG to still be illuminated even without light. Now, on the real version of the Trijicon RMR red dot sight, it will have exactly that, a red dot in this sight, but you can have different variants of this sight. One that relies on battery power, one that doesn't, one that has a power button, one that doesn't. I'll tell you what, let me just get back to this AIRSOFT version. This AIRSOFT version relies on a battery to be powered, but there's no power button, so it's one of those always on red dot sights. Now you may be thinking, oh my gosh, how many batteries am I going to need for this? Because surely this is just going to completely run out every single day. Well, if I was to tell you on the real version by Trijicon, if you have that red dot sight at its lowest setting, apparently it can last you up to 3 or 4 years with it constantly being on. At its highest setting, about 25 days. So what about this AIRSOFT version? Now, I don't think for 1 minute it's gonna match the real version, but who knows? There are no settings for the brightness of the red dot in this RMR AIRSOFT version. So what I'm gonna do now, as you see, it's now on, and I'm gonna do a test, and I'll give you updates on my Twitter account of how long this RMR sight will last without me having to change the battery. So it's going to be always on 24/7. So yeah, check out my Twitter account for updates, or in about a month or so, I may just do another video update right here on YouTube. And a little something something on Instagram. Now, another cool feature about this ACOG sight, off to the side on the left, you have some backup iron sights, as it were. So you got your front sight and your rear sight, just like the real thing. So what about your windage and your elevation? So you've got your controls here and here. Hopefully these should be able to unscrew. Yes, they're coming off, so that's hopeful. Get in. Lovely. So you would simply use, again, a small coin or a flathead screwdriver or anything that can fit in that slot. And the same applies to the top for your elevation, and down here for your windage adjustments. Awesome. And let me just make sure these adjustments are not just dummies, because I'd hate to mislead you on my channel. Okay, so they turn and they're clicking. Let's just have a quick look through. Yep, I can confirm your windage your windage and your elevation on this sight will keel. Sorry, I made a reference to a TV show. Sorry. Your windage and your elevation on this sight are real, including the ones on the red dot sight. So it goes without saying, I am still impressed by the fiber optic system that we have on here. that keeps this reticule illuminated. No batteries needed at all, unlike the RMR sight on top. This is awesome, people. And this is airsoft. Not the steadiest of hands when it comes to holding a reticule in front of a camera lens, but look at that. Again, it's such a hard thing to do on camera, but I have to say I am very impressed with that side of things. So there you go, this is the AIRSOFT ACOG style scope with the RMR style sight on top. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is a solid piece. It looks the business, you've got to admit it, it really does look the part. A bit naughty with the old trades on there, but other than that, I really like this. And do remember, if that RMR style sight on top of that ACOG is not your thing, it comes off. Because remember, many of these AIRSOFT ACOGs and even real ones don't necessarily come with that sight on top. It's an option. But with this one, it's included. Now, if you like what you see, head down to the video description where you'll see a direct link and a cheeky little code for a 10% discount. Tell them AIRSOFT Mike sent ya. Not really. Anyway, if you go on the site, you can apply a coupon. Just use the code AIRSOFT Mike. And Bob will definitely be your uncle. Thanks for watching, and thanks again to TACTICALXMEN.com.